got a call for a Jeep with a blown engine.
My gosh!
Matt Wetzel, the face behind Matt's off-road recovery, captured hearts with his grit, kindness, and daring desert rescues. You might be one of their subscribers, too. Behind the thrilling recoveries and viral videos, a quiet tragedy was unfolding. Fans were blindsided when troubles surfaced, shaking the foundation of the beloved YouTube channel. Things suddenly became a storm of allegations and courtroom drama, plus the health risks to Matt. It is not just about vehicles stuck in sand. It is about trust and reputation. This is the heartbreaking story behind one man's once fall from grace and series of resilience. Channel taking its toll. If you've ever watched Matt's off-road recovery, you know that Matt Wetzel isn't just a guy who pulls trucks and Jeeps out of muddy, gnarly spots. He's a genuinely kind-hearted person who has helped countless folks get back on the road when their off-road adventures go sideways. But behind the scenes of all those epic recoveries, there's a tragic story that many fans don't really know about. And it's honestly heartbreaking. Matt's journey isn't just about heavy-duty winches and monster trucks. It's also about pain, loss, and perseverance in the face of personal tragedy. Matt Wetzel grew up with a love for off-roading and vehicles. You can tell from the way he talks about trucks and recovery work that it's more than just a job for him. It's a passion. He's the kind of guy who can see a broken-down Jeep stuck in the mud and immediately picture a plan to get it out, making it look easy. But life isn't always that simple, even for someone who seems so strong and capable. Behind Matt's calm, can-do attitude is a man who has faced some incredibly tough moments that most people never see on the show. One of the most heartbreaking parts of Matt's story is the loss of his brother. It's not something that gets talked about a lot on camera, but those who know Matt personally understand how much it shook him. Losing a sibling is one of those wounds that never really heal, and it changes you in ways you can't fully explain. For Matt, it was a painful reminder that life is fragile, even when you're out there taming the wildest off-road terrain. It's hard to imagine how he kept going with so much grief inside. But somehow, his love for helping others and his tight-knit family gave him the strength to push forward. Another side of Matt's tragedy is the toll that his work takes on his own health and family life. Recovery work is physically demanding and dangerous. Every day on the job, Matt risks injury and exhaustion, and he does it all for people who often just want a hand getting their vehicles back. That kind of dedication can come at a cost. There have been moments when Matt has opened up about how hard it is to balance work, family, and his own well-being. It's a tough grind, and the emotional weight of carrying other people's problems while dealing with your own losses can be crushing. And then, on top of all these are the legal issues on their business. The technicalities. It all started to unravel publicly around late 2021 when Matt Wetzel found himself in hot water with the Utah Insurance Fraud Division. The state charged him with a second-degree felony count of insurance fraud. Specifically, his company, Winder Towing, which does a lot of the work featured on the channel, was accused of submitting more than $15,000 in fraudulent claims to TOTAA over the course of about a year and a half, from early 2019 to mid-2020. The crux of the issue? Some of the vehicle recoveries were billed to TOTAA even though the situations didn't qualify for reimbursement under TOTAA's standard roadside assistance policy. For example, AA doesn't typically cover off-road recoveries of ATVs or UTVs, especially from places like Sand Hollow State Park. But investigators say that's exactly what was happening. Recoveries of vehicles like Polaris RZRs being billed through customer TOTAA memberships, sometimes not even the vehicle owner's own membership. Now, to many people, this might seem like a technicality, or even just a gray area that got pushed a little too far. But to insurance regulators, This was a clear case of fraud. Matt eventually struck a deal, pleading no contest to a lesser Class A misdemeanor to avoid felony charges and possible jail time. The deal came with some strings attached. He had to pay back over $15,000 to Totoe, another $1,700 in fines to the state, and agree to serve 18 months of probation. So while he dodged the worst-case legal outcome, the consequences were still serious and public. The impact wasn't just legal or financial either. Being at the center of a fraud case naturally caused some damage to Matt's reputation, and by extension, his business. Matt's off-road recovery is built not only on mechanical skill and thrilling video content, but also on trust, the sense that viewers are watching honest work, and that customers are being taken care of fairly. For many fans, especially those loyal to the channel's family-friendly vibe and down-to-earth appeal, the idea that Matt was misusing insurance systems came as a shock. While many followers rallied behind him, insisting it was all a misunderstanding or a small mistake blown out of proportion, others saw it as a breach of trust. For a public figure running a business in a niche but visible space, that kind of split reaction can be tough to weather. Beyond the PR and fan reaction, the situation also had some real-world implications for how Matt's company operates. Legal costs, fines, and probation requirements put strain on the business side of things. There's also the fact that they likely had to reassess how they bill for services, what kinds of jobs they accept, and how to keep everything above board going forward. Insurance, after all, is a huge part of any towing or recovery operation, especially one that operates in risky, remote areas. Getting dropped by an insurer or losing co-pay partnership privileges could seriously limit future growth or even basic day-to-day operations. But in spite of the controversy, the channel has kept moving forward. Videos continue to roll out, and the team remains busy recovering vehicles and showing off the unique challenges of backcountry recovery work. If nothing else, the whole saga has been a reminder that YouTube fame doesn't make you immune from real-world consequences. It also shows how important it is to understand the technical and legal frameworks behind the industries we watch for entertainment. How's Matt now? As his public persona grew, so did curiosity about his personal life, how he's doing now, what his health is like, what his family life looks like, and what he's been up to since the cameras started rolling. Matt's journey hasn't been all smooth sailing when it comes to health. In 2020, he and his entire family contracted COVID-19. Like many others at the time, Matt had felt almost invincible before getting sick. He described feeling 10 feet tall and bulletproof, but the virus brought him back down to earth. It was a rough period for him and his loved ones, but thankfully, they all pulled through. The experience was a wake-up call for Matt. It reminded him and his viewers that even the toughest people can be vulnerable. Since recovering, Matt has appeared healthy and active, continuing the demanding work of vehicle recovery with the same energy and enthusiasm fans love. Family has always been at the center of Matt's world. He's married to Jamie Wetzel, who not only supports him emotionally but also helps run the business side of things, managing billing and occasionally joining in on recovery missions. Together, they have 3 sons, Colin, Ratticert, and Carter, who sometimes make appearances in videos, either helping out or just hanging around the shop. Matt grew up in a large family himself, one of 8 siblings, so working and living alongside family is second nature to him. That family-first mindset really comes through in his videos, and it's one of the reasons the channel resonates with so many viewers. It's not just about trucks and mud, it's about teamwork, trust, and community. Of course, fame brings its share of challenges, and Matt's story hasn't been without controversy. As mentioned, his company was caught up in a legal issue involving insurance fraud allegations. For a while, It cast a shadow over the operation, and fans were left wondering what would happen next. But Matt and his team didn't hide or disappear. They faced the situation head-on, and eventually, the matter was resolved. While it was undoubtedly a stressful chapter, it didn't stop the momentum of the channel. If anything, it showed Matt's willingness to take responsibility and keep moving forward. Looking ahead, Matt doesn't seem to be slowing down. While he hasn't hinted at any major changes or projects, fans can expect the same blend of grit, humor, and wholesome content that has defined his channel from the start. He's carved out a unique space online, part educational, part entertainment, all wrapped in authenticity. Whether he's crawling through sand dunes, pulling a Jeep out of a canyon, or just hanging out in the garage with his team, Matt Wetzel has built something special. Even people who seem superhuman, who can pull a truck from a swamp or fix what looks broken beyond repair, are still human. They have their own battles, their own heartbreaks, and their own scars. Matt's tragedy makes his resilience all the more meaningful because it shows that strength isn't about never falling down. It's about getting back up again, every single time. And for fans of the show, knowing the struggles behind the scenes only deepens the respect and admiration for the man who's always ready to help, no matter what. Beloved show, beloved channel. If you've ever found yourself falling down a YouTube rabbit hole, chances are you've stumbled across a yellow rope, a custom wrecker, and a group of cheerful, dusty folks pulling cars out of the middle of nowhere. That's Matt's Off-Road Recovery, a wildly popular YouTube channel based out of Hurricane, Utah, that's built a global fan base by doing something surprisingly simple: helping people who are stuck in some of the gnarliest off-road situations imaginable. But what makes this channel more than just another towing operation is the heart, humor, and community that's been baked into every single video. It's the kind of channel where you start watching for the rescues, but end up staying for the personalities. Yes, at the center of it all is Matt Wetzel, the founder and face of the channel. Matt started out as a humble tow truck driver, helping tourists and locals alike who got stuck in the wild terrain near Zion National Park. You know the kind of terrain: deep sand, red rock cliffs, mud pits, and back roads that don't even show up on Google Maps. At first, it was just Matt and a dream, working with basic gear and a lot of ingenuity. But it didn't take long for him to realize that people were fascinated by his work. Recoveries weren't just technical, they were thrilling, unpredictable, and sometimes straight-up heroic. So he started filming them, and that's when the magic happened. What really makes Matt's Off-Road Recovery stand out in the YouTube world is how real it feels. There are no over-the-top gimmicks or fake drama here, just genuine problem-solving, creative rigging, and a team that works together like a well-oiled machine. It's not just Matt either. He's surrounded by an awesome crew, including Lizzie, who's become a fan favorite in her own right. She's young, smart, and quick-witted, and people love watching her learn the ropes, literally, and develop serious recovery skills. Then you've got Ed, the cool-headed mechanic who seems to know everything about everything, and a rotating cast of helpers and locals who keep things interesting. These aren't actors, they're regular people doing extraordinary work, and that's part of what makes the channel so addictive. Now let's talk about the vehicles, because they're basically characters themselves. Matt's fleet includes some seriously custom rides built specifically for off-road recovery. The famous Banana, a bright yellow XJ Cherokee, became an icon of the channel until it was retired. It was followed by newer builds, like the Morvair, a heavily modified Chevy Corvair that's both bizarre and brilliant. These vehicles aren't just there to look cool, they're functional machines, built from the ground up to haul people out of impossible situations. Viewers love seeing the team design, weld, and tinker with these rigs. It adds a whole other layer of entertainment for the DIY and car repair crowd. As the channel grew, so did the audience. We're not just talking a few thousand subscribers. Matt's Off-Road Recovery now has nearly 2 million subscribers and over 1 billion views. That's some serious global reach for a small-town tow operation. What's wild is that fans come from all over the world, not just off-roaders or car enthusiasts, but also folks who just enjoy good storytelling. Matt's team does a great job of showing the beauty of southern Utah while telling engaging stories that highlight teamwork, trust, and a never-give-up attitude. Plus, there's something universally satisfying about watching someone overcome a tough challenge, even if it's just pulling a Ford Explorer out of quicksand. Of course, all that success has turned into serious business. Through ad revenue, sponsorships, and a booming merch shop, Matt's Off-Road Recovery is pulling in somewhere between $11,000 to $16,000 per month, and likely more when you factor in things like their branded gear and custom tools. They've even launched their own app, so fans can get early access to videos, behind-the-scenes content, and exclusive updates. What started as a side hustle has grown into a full-on brand, with employees, investments, and a loyal fan base that treats the crew like family. But it's not just about money or views. The heart of Matt's Off-Road Recovery is community. Whether it's helping a family on vacation who got their minivan stuck in the sand or pulling a UTV out of a remote canyon, the team approaches every job with kindness, creativity, and a no-judgment attitude. You never see them mock anyone or act superior. Instead, they explain what went wrong, fix the problem, and teach viewers how to avoid it themselves. It's wholesome, educational, and uplifting. Everything YouTube should be. Big question: what's next for Matt and the gang? Bigger rescues, more extreme builds, and maybe even international adventures. They've hinted at expanding their operations and tackling recoveries in other parts of the country, or even outside the US. And with the kind of support they have now, anything's possible. They've built a platform that people trust, not just for entertainment, but for the spirit of adventure and problem-solving it represents. Matt's Off-Road Recovery is more than just pulling vehicles out of tough spots. It's a reminder that there's still value in doing things the hard way, in working together, and in helping strangers without expecting anything in return. Pop culture. It's one of those channels that doesn't sound super flashy at first, just a guy in southern Utah rescuing stuck vehicles. But once you click on a video, it's hard to stop watching. What really sets it apart is that it's not just about pulling vehicles out of sand or mud. It's about the people, the problem-solving, the incredible backdrops of the desert, and a crew that genuinely seems to enjoy what they do. The show has quietly built up a kind of cult following. In the age of digital influencers and overly produced content, Matt's Off-Road Recovery feels refreshingly real. There are no fake breakdowns, no over-the-top drama, no clickbait thumbnails with flames and emojis. Just good, honest recovery work filmed with GoPros and drones, often narrated with a smile and a dry joke. And somehow, that simplicity has struck a major chord with people. Whether you're a car person or not, there's something universal about watching someone face a tough challenge, think their way through it, and come out the other side covered in dust and victory. What's wild is how it's evolved. From just a single tow truck and Matt's trusty yellow XJ Cherokee, the channel now features full builds like the Morvair, a custom off-road recovery beast that looks like it crawled out of a Mad Max movie but with a Utah license plate. Then there's the extended crew, people like Lizzie, Ed, and Jamie, each of whom has developed their own fan base. The chemistry between them makes the videos more than just mechanical problem-solving. It's part sitcom, part adventure series, and part how-to tutorial. It's like a reality show, minus the fake reality. And speaking of spin-offs and growth, Matt's Off-Road Recovery didn't stop with just one channel. There are behind-the-scenes channels like Winder Towing, which is technically the business behind all of this, and even Fab Rats, which focuses more on the fabrication side of things, building and modifying the rigs they use. These related channels have built an entire micro-universe around the original concept, kind of like a mini pop culture ecosystem where off-roading is the main currency. It's not unlike how shows like Gold Rush or Street Outlaws branched into spin-offs, but this version feels more grounded and community-based. We're moving away from overly produced TV shows and looking for authenticity, skill, and community. It's not just about watching someone fix a car. It's about watching real people solve real problems in real time and learning a little something in the process. The channel also taps into that deeply American love for vehicles, open spaces, and the DIY spirit. It's kind of like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood meets Top Gear, but with desert dust instead of British rain. What do you think of their channel? Have you seen one episode yet? We hope you're a subscriber of ours too. See you in the next one.